Hey guys, welcome back to Real Housewives Recaps. Today, I wanted to spend some time talking to you all. As you know, if you follow my channel, I am a big fan of Nana from GBN. And she had Angela Levin on, and they've just gotten into a great conversation about what's going on with Catherine, what's going on with Meghan, more about the school visit from hell that I didn't realize, just all of it. So I'm excited to get into this with you. So as always, what I'm going to do is react to this content. We're going to watch the video, but I do stop and interrupt it if you want the uninterrupted version. Just Google GBN News and you'll find this interview right here. But I'm going to interrupt it as we go so that way we can have talking points and talk through what's going on. So let's get into this. Honk, honk. Thanks for being here, everybody.
On in the royal household, and this week has been no different. On the menu, the Princess of Wales has been showing the means that she means business in her new fashion sense. She's got some fabulous outfits, and then there's been a little bit of tittle-tattle from the Sussex estate side. But every Saturday I love to give you a rundown, and who better to do so than royal biographer Angela Levin.
Okay, I'm excited to dive into this with you all. I've been a big fan of Nana's. She really does a good job laying into the dastardly duo from Montecito. And of course, I do like to feature Angela Levin quite a bit because she kind of has more of an inside track with Harry and a history there. And she also is good at calling those two out. Let's take a look.
Angela, well, good to see you. So now, should we start with Princess of Wales, Catherine? She's been looking sensational. She's been power dressing.
Yeah, I'll do the power dressing. I want to say first that a lot of people have been being very rude about her.
So thrilled that Angela is addressing this. This is something coming out from the Sugars that I'm seeing quite a bit on social media.
Because she's not going to Asia with her husband for the earth cold thing. And it's actually, we've discovered that it's because it's Prince George's exams, which are very important exams. He's 10. And Eton give exams at one level, and then they do it again, another one. And she wants to be there to support him.
Doesn't it make you love Catherine even more? It does for me. I mean, I didn't think it was possible, but I do. I love that that's the reason she's not going. I am sad that she's not going because I was excited to see what she wore. But, I mean, who could fault her for that reason? Oh, I know. The Sugars could. Because when have we ever seen Meghan pick her kids over, Spotlight? Hell, not even a spotlight. More of just a parking lot or a milkshake photo opportunity.
So all these people saying, oh, she snubbed him, what's gone wrong with the marriage? People are hopping onto, saying all sorts of ridiculous things. And that's what she's doing. So I wanted to clear that first.
Truly glad she did. It doesn't need to be said, but I'm glad she said it. And, I mean, what can I expect from the Sugars, though, right? Look who they're blindly following.
But actually, she looks stunning now. It's very interesting because she wears suits, not from very expensive shops.
I mean, isn't that funny? A case could be made for why the future Queen of England would, maybe spend more for her suits and stuff, but she's showing that she doesn't have to. That's not her priority. Again, I just love Catherine.
And she looks stunning. And she wouldn't have done that, I don't think, when the Queen was alive, because the Queen wasn't really keen on any of them wearing trousers when they're out on an engagement.
And that's something I didn't even think about. And again, I'm glad Angela Kelly brings it up. I find that completely interesting. And while I love the Queen, I understand why Catherine would maybe want to update things a little bit.
But now that it's more loose, I think, nobody minds that. And she looks as if she's very businesslike. And each time she changes the colour and she goes along and she does a very good job. She's marvellous with children. You can see that she absolutely adores them.
Yeah.
If you're on Patreon, that's something I just worked on a video putting together, a bunch of clips with her and kids showing the exact same thing. Those are some of my favorite moments with Catherine when she's with the kids, with Charity and stuff. She just does such a wonderful job.
Yes.
And they respond to her in an incredibly full and warm way. Lots of
She
hugs.
sort of looks at them as though she wants another one. That's what I thought.
Well, she did want another one, and William decided after 3 that he didn't want another child. And she did have very, very difficult pregnancies, and she discussed that her own with a woman who had the same as her. So she's not nervous about revealing herself and being very accessible as a princess. So she's done really well. And you look at her and you see how she behaves and you think Meghan could never beat her.
Oh, Nope, she's not even in the same stratosphere as Catherine. I mean, see approval ratings for details, right?
She absolutely couldn't. And what I think was quite hypocritical was after the Invictus Games, she went off for a little holiday to Portugal with Harry. And
so I find this so interesting. This was brought up on my live stream about what are your thoughts on them going to Portugal? At that time, it was still speculated, but Angela seems to be confirming it here. Unbelievable, right? Those two. And I'm not just putting on Meghan. I don't think it's fair when people say, oh, the mom should be with the kids. I think both parents should be with the kids, and neither of them are interested in their kids ever.
There she was saying she couldn't come except 3 days later for the Invictus Games because she had to make the children milkshakes. But
make them? No. Do a ridiculous photo shoot with them? Yes.
in fact, she then went off for however many days it was to Portugal to have a quiet, romantic holiday.
Oh, come on. No one was buying that Invictus BS. They are not going on holiday together. I'm sure Meghan was like, I'm so stressed. I need a break from the speech that I had to give that nobody asked for. I'm sure they're staying in separate places. Isn't that what they're doing? Isn't that what they're doing back in California anyway?
With Harry. Could have been to Eugenie's place there, but it might not have been. We don't know yet, really. But I thought, how can you say you're desperate for your children, you love them, and then most of us who the children, you'd rush home as soon as you could to see them and not take off more time. So it was more than 2 weeks she was away.
Yeah, because even when Meghan was supposed to be with the kids, she was not. She was out doing photo shoots. We saw it. Look at her driving a car. Like she wanted a prize for driving a car. No kids in the car, no car seats in the car. Weird, right? And then you got Harold out doing photo shoots when the Queen, on the anniversary of the Queen passing. And again, they just, you can see that their priorities are the cameras that he especially pretends to despise. She can't even act that well, so she's smiling like manically at the camera. So, yeah, no, they're the worst.
So, there's another example of hypocrisy. Really.
Nobody ever sees the children, though. I mean, her own dad has not seen any of the children, which is very sad, I think.
Well, it's very sad, actually,
I mean,
because
why?
he's obviously very ill.
He's ill,
and although he can speak a little bit now, it's still very awkward for him. And I think you have to, whatever you feel about your parent, you need to just do something that makes them feel happier.
Yeah, at least, I mean, look, they're your parents, and even if they do the things that are wrong, and they do sometimes, I mean, sometimes my parents are so annoying, but I've still got them and they're still here. So even though, in particular my dad, he can be so annoying. Oh, God, he goes on and on and on.
And this is one of the reasons I love Nana. Her personality is wonderful. But I mean, we've talked about it at length. I talked to Thomas Markle Jr. about it. It's so wrong how they're treating both of the dads. I would say her dad and King Charles.
But I just accept, no, don't do this. I mean, one time he came to my house, he flooded the toilet upstairs. I warned him. It was like Paddington Bear. Everything he did, he broke. I said, and once he'd ruined it and it flooded through, he said, no, you need to get yourself an electrician and a plumber. I said, thanks for your help, Dad. But Meghan, let's go on to Meghan.
Yeah.
She's got the memoirs. She's been moaning about how bad her royal life was.
Well, you see, it's very interesting because she said several times that she's doing a memoir.
Yeah, it's just unbelievable at this point. What the hell else could she have to say? What else could she make up, right? But I just can't imagine, like, what... How long is she going to wait? Like, what is she waiting for at this point? Her approval rating to drop even lower? Like, is she waiting for Charles to, like, what's she waiting on?
She's going to bring it out, and you sort of tremble in your feet because it's all going to be how terrible everyone was to her. But her new PR people have tried to give her a new image. So she's happy, she's bright, everything's wonderful, she's full of smiles, laughter. We saw that in the Invictus Games. Now, my question is, how can you now bring out a very miserable book when you say life is wonderful, you didn't really mean it and it's all lovely?
Obviously, I'll agree that they're putting on a show at Invictus, but I don't see it like that. I don't see it as Meghan saying everything's all lovely. I think she's pretending everything's all lovely between her and Harry, but I I do believe she's the driving force behind all these articles coming up about, oh, look, King Charles is being mean to them. They don't have a residence in the UK, all that nonsense.
Because, if she attacks the royal family, she's back to being somebody who's rude and attacking them.
So I have to disagree with Angela. She's talking like that was in the past tense. It's still going on. I mean, we are in the same year that Spare came out. And yes, it's Harry's book, but they were both involved in this. And then we have Endgame coming out in a few weeks. Again, further attacks on the royal family. And you're telling me Meghan had nothing to do with it? I don't think so.
So I think it's quite an interesting dilemma. Will she or won't she actually bring the book out in the end? But what is actually very important is that it's been discovered that in 2021, when she went to New York and Harlem, she went there to read her book, and to these 7-year-olds. But they were all gagged. The teachers and the 7-year-olds were gagged. And they weren't allowed to say anything nasty or negative about her.
I'm still so obsessed with this idea. How awful must your personality/behavior be if you have to have kids and grown-ups and everybody around you sign papers that you won't talk about how awful and nasty your behavior is?
And I thought that was shocking, because I don't believe you should ever stop children saying something. If they say, I don't like that book, you can say, well, next book, I'll make a lot of, I'll try and make it much nicer for you. But the other thing was that this was a school that was one of the poorest in Harlem. And she insisted that they bought a new carpet and lots of blue cushions in absolute specific blue, because that made her feel comfortable and she liked that around.
I talked about this specific thing in another video. I had gotten a hold of an article saying the same thing. She requested new cushions, new carpet, things like that. And I even said at the time, who pays for this? Thinking there is no way they would expect the school, who again is in, we've talked about it, the struggling area and dealing with, helping all these kids. And yeah, let's just take a listen to Angela's answer, because
I hope they paid for it then, if they insisted that. If they paid for it, I'd be happy that she
No, she didn't. They had to pay for it. The school paid for it.
Are you sure?
Yes, I am sure.
And there it is. They continue to be the absolute worst people in the history of the world. They are going to this school to read that stupid book that nobody wants to hear, to take pictures and videos for their Netflix series. And they're requesting that the school fix itself up nicer so Meghan thinks she looks better. I'm sorry, no amount of fixing can make her look better. She's a terrible person from inside and out, and so is her stupid doofus husband.
And I think that that's actually shows a lot about her, that it is hypocrisy as well. It's really sad, because they do the things and then you look back on them and say, well, that is completely hypocritical, but they don't mind. They carry on doing that. And yet she could have been nice. She could have been positive. She could have been incredibly helpful, but she's got this strain that sort of is self-destructive.
Well, she could have been, but then she would have been somebody else, not herself. Angela Levin, as ever, thank you very much for joining.
And there you have it. So just think about that. Think about that when, the Sugars are blindly defending her, saying, oh, she's great, you're jealous. Nobody's jealous of her. Nobody's jealous of either of them. They are terrible people. And every time, I don't know how else to say it, every time I think they can't get worse, they do stuff like this, and they prove me completely wrong. This is the worst thing I've ever heard. They are unbelievable at this point, right? Unbelievable. I actually applaud the royal family for being so, what's the word, stoic, holding their heads up high and dealing with this crap as long as they did. They are unhinged. They are terrible people. And all in the name of their charity, I'm using air quotes there, whatever, their foundation, Archwell. But yet they were requesting that things look better for Meghan in filming, so they weren't willing to pitch in and pay for things that they were requesting be fixed up. Unbelievable. They are the worst at every single turn. I think Angela was being too kind to them, and I assume she's being sarcastic, saying, Meghan's been better. She's not. She's terrible. And this is reason why. Let's not ever forget it. We can see it. It's still coming out, and it will still continue to come out. As you guys have pointed out, there are rumblings that so much more is hidden that hasn't come out yet that can and maybe will, and I'm here for it. Let's bring out all that stuff. Let's rip up some NDAs and bring out all the stuff. Let's really see what we're dealing with these two. Unbelievable. You guys are the best. I appreciate you all so much. Thank you for everything. Thank you for the continued love and support. You know, I appreciate each of you so very much. I truly do. I hope you had the best day. Just do the opposite of whatever Harry and Meghan would do, and it'll be good. You guys are the best. I'll talk to you again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.